And he's pedal to the metal. Go, go, go!
Hello everyone and welcome back to PSGL for PCF2 here for round 9 of the season at Hungary. And as usual, to me, Nathan, and joined alongside me, as usual, is Joshua Birch. Hello Josh, welcome in.
Hello, sorry about the green background. We've been filming all morning as well, things for Azerbaijan in the watch long, so that's going to go down this evening and the normal flags will be back up. But yeah, the box is an absolute tip right now, as you yourself, Richie, knows.
Yes.
It's a complete mess. Literally, I can only sit in this position. It is a mess everywhere with cables and leads, and it's not because we haven't done anything for 4 weeks, just because everything is all over the place. It's an utter mess.
And obviously, Hungary, what are your thoughts on the track?
Monaco without the barriers, many people call it. I like the circuit. I think it always gives us an entertaining race. First sector is fantastic. It's one of the best on the calendar. The tricky second sector, where it's single file, very short corners, feels like the car's too big. It feels like we should be having a go-kart instead. So there's that. But I do enjoy this track. I've got a love-hate relationship with it, a bit like Shanghai a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
It is good, though.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it really puts a test to the drivers, doesn't it? A bit different to usual, obviously very technical, very old
I've got a
school.
feeling my internet's gone off, hasn't it?
You're laggy, but you're still here. But Josh. Oh, he's gone. Josh has gone. So, as I was saying, obviously it's a very technical track. It's a bit like, I'd say, Netherlands mixed with a little bit of Monaco, a bit of Imola, all put into one track. Obviously, one of the oldest tracks on the calendar as well. I think they've been racing here since, I think, the 70s or possibly a bit older than that. But I love the track. I think everyone else does. Well, not for driving in that sense. I haven't heard many people have good opinions on the track for driving. But we'll have a little look at the track now. As it comes on the screen, there we are, Budapest, Hungary, the Hungaroring. 4.3 kilometres, 2.7 miles. We went, but I believe we are back. I don't know what happened. The stream cut off as we were talking through the track, so it obviously doesn't like the track too much, does it? The stream. But yeah, I think we are all good to go. Yeah, not sure what happened there at all. But I believe we are back underway. Yep, we're back. That's great. Sorry about that issue there. It seems that sometimes the game likes to hate me. And I should be back with Josh. I'm not sure if Josh is with us still. I don't know if he's had some technical issues himself. But here we are. I only got 12 people in the lobby today, unfortunately. Mainly due to challengers being on now. Obviously, I think qualifiers just ended for challengers. So that's why a lot of drivers aren't here today. But we'll look through the lobby. It's got to get everything set up on here quickly. And we'll talk quickly through the lobby. So we've got Harlan Marquis, Daniel Kaya, Milan Maya, Thomas Lamanen, Jack Humphreys, Camel Statura, Jeremy GLNR. I still don't know what that last name's meant to be, but I always refer to him as Jeremy. Cameron Dowd, Sergio Sabrino, Przemek Kubas, Yannick Schmidt, and Drake Dempsey. Obviously, Drake leading the championship so far. I'm not sure quite how much by, because unfortunately the standings from last week didn't get posted out yet, but the person who does it has been a bit busy, so yeah, no issues there. We'll get it sorted for next race. But currently on board with Jeremy, who's going to be setting the first lap of the session. He's got Camel Statura sitting right behind. And just let me know in the chat if any issues do arise with the stream, so I can fix them. But all now at least looks quite well. But obviously, you come through up in towards turn 5, down in towards the chicane. Very difficult chicane. You've got to mount as much curb as you can without mounting too much. You mount too much curb and your car will just jump completely. As then you come through the SE section. And then through into the long, quick right hand up before you come down into the braking zone for the start of the third sector. Then obviously you got this corner up next. You obviously got that horrible little grey curb on the inside, which throws the car completely if you take a wrong line. Then you have the final corner where you begin. Well, Jeremy is going to begin his first lap and the first lap of the session. As obviously it's a DRS open, very high wings ready, so you won't really see much high speed as now Jeremy heads down towards turn 1, about 300 kilometers an hour before he hits the brakes, chucks the car in down to third. You want to ride the curb on the exit, there you are, as you go up to fourth, then slam back on the throttle all the way down in towards turns 2 and 3. But be very careful, it's a bit of a downhill left-hander, but it's also off-cambered, so you've got to be very careful with losing the car, and Jeremy takes that very nicely as he comes through there now. Heading up to this horrible turn 4, there's a Mercedes just ahead, but hopefully he won't get in the way, which he doesn't. 27.127 for the first sector there, set by Jeremy. As you know, come through up this horrible uphill section, you're going to ride the curb, then you come down in towards this horrible chicane. Every part of this track is horrible to drive because it's so difficult, and you've got to pinpoint everything correctly. As you now come through the big S's section, you've got to be very careful through here. You want to put your foot down as quick as you can, but you've got to be careful you don't do it too quickly, otherwise you'll just get auto spun. Then Jeremy, missing the apex going through there, so that's going to compromise some lap time of 53.871 for his middle sector combined. Then you ride the curb on the exit there. Coming into the last couple of corners, just before the pit lane, you want to ride, well, you don't want to ride the curb, but you want to ride close to the curb on the exit. Then you fly into the final corner, chuck the car in. Then you want to ride it wide as you want to be able to put your foot on the throttle as quick as you can. And Jeremy, now up towards the line, that'll be a 15.446 for the first lap of the session. Harlem's on a lap time as well. He's coming through the middle sector. I believe Josh still isn't with us at the moment. Otherwise, there's an issue my side again. We'll quickly see if we can get in contact with Josh while we begin the first laps, because he's still disappeared. So Josh has had a power cut and the Wi-Fi's down, so hopefully he can get back soon. If not, you'll be with me just for now. And Camel Saturat goes quickest with a 15.2. Harlan Marquis slots himself into P2 with a 15.3. Drake Dempsey, however, says, no, I'll be taking provisional pole, thank you very much, and sets a 15.1. Yannick Schmidt has invalidated, and we have Sergio Sobrino, he's on a lap as well, now coming through the final few corners. Miller Meyer goes quickest in the Williams. With a 15.168. We've now on board with Sergio Sobrino as he comes up towards the line, and Daniel Kaya goes into third. Where can Sergio go in his first run? He only slots himself into seventh. Cameron Des up the line goes quickest with a 15.123. And then I think, yep, Yannick's not on a lap. Is Jack Humphries? Yes, but he's on mediums. So he's obviously going to be setting a lap his banker at least on the medium tyres. He goes into ninth, fastest with a 15.9. Przemek, or I still don't know how to say that name. We'll call him Stamek for short. He's on a lap now. He's coming, well, about to begin his first lap of the session. He's now coming through the final few corners and towards turn 15, the final corner on the track. Well, turn 14, sorry. He's now heads down with the DRS in towards turn 1, and we'll see what he can do. What speed does it hit before it hits the brakes? Gets to about 299. Then he slams on the brakes, throws it into turn 1, takes down to fourth. Sunrise we've seen take down to third, but obviously Przemek doing a different strategy there to others. He now comes down in towards turn 2. Got to be very careful here. You want to get on the power as early as you can, and a bit of delay there on the power compared to what Jeremy did, so still lots of time there to be gained as you now come to the end of the first sector. It's a 27.133 as he comes through into turn 4 now, in towards the uphill at turn 5. Got to be very careful here. Goes a little bit wide, doesn't touch the apex as he would like, as he now chucks it in towards turn 6 and 7 at the chicane, just bouncing through the curbs there as he rides the curb on the exit. In towards turns 8, 9 and 10 there, the S's section. You've got to be very careful through here. And also it's very easy to invalidate, but Przemek does that very nicely. Now in towards turn 11 as you charge down, little burst of straight in towards turn 12. Brake just before the 50-metre walk, thread the car in, ride the curb on entry, ride the curb on exit as you now get ready to enter into turn 13. Oh, missing the apex a little bit there. Could have took that a lot tighter, but he didn't, as he now comes in towards turn 14, the final corner on the circuit. Let's see what time this could be for Przemek as he comes up towards the line. It's a 15.322, slots him into the top 6. And for now, that is all the lap times being set. Tumas and Yannick did not set a time. We've got Jeremy and Camel back on 8 laps. We'll go on board with Jeremy's. He will be the first one to set a lap. He's currently down in 8th with a 15.4, only 3/10 off first. So, oh no, Jeremy's not got a front wing. That's definitely not ideal for Jeremy at all on his out lap. Camille has got a front wing, so we'll go on board with him for now. As obviously, Jeremy will have to enter the pits again to go back out. Obviously, an 18-minute qualifying session as usual, as you can see. And obviously, we've got the 50% race coming up shortly. So make sure to stick around as we now head down in towards turn 12, the final part of the track with Camille Staturer, as he's about to begin his second lap of the session. Obviously, currently about 1.2 tenths off the time of Cameron Dowd. So obviously looking to improve. We'll have a look at the gap to lead up. There we are. So 2 tenths between the top 6. 3 tenths between the top 8, and then obviously 8 tenths to the top to the whole field. But Jack Humphries, remember, was on medium tyres. Now Camille heading down in towards turn 1 yet again. Chucks on the anchors, throws the car in as usual. The pretty same and unusual around here. As heads down towards turn 2. Obviously, going to be careful with this corner next. As he heads in, rides the curb on entry. You can see now, obviously, drivers will be putting a bit more pressure on Camille. Going very wide on that. Well, going deep, obviously, taking the line he would prefer. As comes to the end of that sector, he's up by 42 thousandths on his lap time. So lots of improvement to go for Camille. Obviously, just with that improvement alone would put him into the top 3, just ahead of Drake Dempsey. He now heads down into the 6-7 chicane. Going to be very careful there. Obviously, not wanting to take risk, just too much risk just yet, as you still have 10 minutes left. So the main risk will be on the final runs as he now heads through in towards turn 11 now. Obviously, throwing the car in, taking the apex nice. Riding the curb on exit by a 10th. Could be quick enough to go into second. Obviously needs an improvement here in the final sector to get yourself onto provisional pole ahead of Cameron Dowd, who set a perfect first lap there of 15.1. But we'll see what Staturer can do now as he heads into the final corner, turn 14. Obviously hasn't got a teammate here today, so Aston Martin alone. But Camille up towards the line, that'll be a great improvement. Puts him first with a 15.116. I believe Cameron's on lap. Yes, he is, but we'll have a look. Further down, Drake Dempsey goes purple, 35 thousandths up in the first sector with a 27.048 as he now heads through in towards the chicane. Obviously sitting in 4th behind Milan, Cameron and Camille, so she'll be looking to get a great improvement throughout this lap, and we'll see many improvements on the second runs. And it should be a lot closer between the top 10 and should be closer between the top field. And Drake there goes off track, but does improve by a 10th, so a bit of a controversial one there from Drake, but we'll see if he completes the lap. I think he will, as he now heads through in towards turn 13 before approaching turn 14, the final corner on the track. Very nice there from Drake. He's up by a 10th in the first and the second combined. Let's see. Can he get up to line? Can he take provisional pole? No, he can't. So improves by 57 thousandths and places himself into P3. Dowd now 86 thousandths up in the middle sector. Let's see. Can he try and take provisional pole back from Camille up to the line? Yes, he can. A 14.98. The first driver to get into the 14.9s. Great lap there from the RSG driver. Now we've got Jack Humphries. He's now on a set of soft tyres, so he shall be looking for a great improvement now as he comes through in towards the SE section, turns 8, 9 and 10 before heading through the long right-hander, the quick right-hander at turn 11. We'll be able to see what improvements he's got on his middle sector combined. It's 4.5 tenths, so currently not good enough to improve on position, but he has got the final sector left to go, and he could gain a lot of time there as he now comes through into turn 13. Taking a very tight line there as he gets on the power as he comes through into turn 14. Now, obviously wanting to take that very tight, which he does. Then you can open yourself up on the exit a bit more, ride the curb on the exit. As he now heads up towards the line. Where can Jack go? Goes up to 4th fastest with a 15.1. Dempsey is down because he has set his lap time. Yannick Schmidt is on time as well. He's about to begin a lap time. Looking further up, Sergio Sabrino, he's down by 7 tenths. Daniel Kaya, I think he's on a lap time as well. We'll go on board with him as he comes through turn 5 now, heading up towards turn 6 and 7. Joshua Birch still isn't with us again. Hopefully we can get him back soon. So bear with the solo commentary just for now as we come through now in towards turn 8 and 9 with Daniel Kaya. Obviously doing pretty well in the championship so far. Hasn't taken part in all the races due to taking part in, I think he's part of PS challenges. I'm not too sure, but he's up by 2 tenths on his lap time, so that's great. But yeah, obviously he's been practicing a lot for the Challengers series, so obviously not putting too much into PSGL as of now. So we shouldn't really expect to see many we'll say many top lap times from him, of course. When he comes through now in towards the final corner, let's see what he can do as he heads up towards the line. Should be a pretty decent lap from Daniel, and it'll be a 15.0, puts him P2. Great lap there from Daniel. Yannick Schmidt is on time. He's coming through the middle sector now. Let's see what he can do. He's obviously not setting a lap time just yet. I'd say Yannick, one of the best qualifiers in this grid, I'd say. And he goes purple with a 53.548. Should be a pretty decent lap time there for Yannick as he now comes out of turn 12, heading in towards 13 and 14. We'll be able to see what he can do in the final stages of this lap. Obviously, great second sector. He's got to try and match his third to at least get a good lap time. Should be a 15 at least, or a 14 for Yannick as he comes up towards the line and he goes quickest with a 14.976, 7 thousandths quicker than what Cameron Downs could do. We've got Kemal Stadger. He's let off his lap, I believe. He's currently sitting fourth with a 15 flats. Jeremy has invalidated on his time. Harlem's up by 75 thousandths in the middle sector. We'll see what he can. Well, in the first sector, sorry. We'll see what he can do in the middle sector. Obviously, the pole time currently at 14.9, and Harlem is about 4 tenths off that with a 15.3. As Yannick comes through turn 11, should be a pretty decent sector there. For Harlem, he's 2 tenths up. That should be good enough for a 15.1. Could pop him into the top 4. Well, obviously between 4th and 7th. Because that's really close, 50 thousandths between Camille and Milan. As now Harlem through the final corner at turn 14. We'll see what he can do as he comes up towards the line in the Alpine. His teammate 12th. Where can Harlem go? Goes up to 6th with a 15.153. Welcome back, Josh.
Hello.
Hello.
Power cut. Sorry about that.
No worries. Welcome back. You're in just before the end stage of the qualifying. Obviously, Yannick currently leading from Cameron Dowd. So you missed 2 great laps.
Yeah. I saw that. And what's really, really, really annoying is the fact is that the commentary box is on a separate power surge to the rest of the house and the rest of the street, actually. So we have, to quote Palpatine, unlimited power. This commentary box never goes down.
Oh.
So that we can always stay on air. But the Wi-Fi isn't connected to the same server. So the computer in the garage, our PC, runs off a different Wi-Fi network. The one on the laptop and elsewhere doesn't.
Yep.
So we lost power to the laptop. We've got to get it back.
And Kamal Stashrak going quickest with a 14.912, just ahead of Yannick and Cameron. Thomas Lemon ready to start his, well, I suppose it'll be his final lap of the session, and he hasn't even set one yet. Josh, are you back in the lobby yet?
I'm in the lobby. I never left.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you had an issue with that. Sorry.
No, I've seen the whole thing. As I said, I lost the laptop power, which is what we commentate on, because that's the Wi-Fi hub in there. The Wi-Fi hub in the garage never lost connection to the thing. It's just that I couldn't connect that one to this because it's a single cable. Well, so it's complicated, but I never lost the lobby. I lost the laptop.
Ah, okay. Well, Binish wasn't here for half the session. Why don't you take us through the lap with Thomas Lemon now as he heads through to turn 5?
Well, this is the part of the track I was talking about before the Wi-Fi rudely kicked me off. This is the second sector through 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that everybody hates because it is so single file. Built, of course, back in 1986. It's a old school style circuit. It hasn't really been modified that much. It was touched upon in 2003 with a new final sector to make it more smooth and remove a chicane. I got in the way. Now it promotes a bit more overtaking. You can see how it opens up more compared to the rest of the track. But it is a nightmare. And this corner here, still the same as it was in 86 with the concrete last 2 corners. And Lamin's decided to box anyway, so he's not going to spend that time. I
think it was due to the fact he cut the track at turn 12. And if you cut the track and set your lap time, I'm sure that should be some sort of penalty. So I believe he just did that so he didn't set a time. But yeah, Tumas, at the moment, looking to start last, hasn't set a lap time, which isn't ideal. The whole grid separated now by about 5 tenths. Obviously, Camille top in the session, followed by Yannick Schmidt, Cameron Dowds and Milan Mayer. They're all within a tenth of each other. And the grid is very close. We'll have a look quickly at the gap to leader. And there we are. So a tenth and a half nearly between the top 5. About 30 thousandths between 6th and 8th. And the whole field separated by just over 5 tenths of a second. The top 8 separated by 2.5. So a very close grid going into this race. 7 thousandths between Yannick Schmidt and Cameron Dowds, as Yannick now is heading out on an 8 lap to begin his final lap of the session. Now this is where we come to the crunch time of qualifying, so everyone will be putting the ultimate risk in. The risks they may not have made in the first and second runs, they will most likely make now, because at the moment you've got nothing to lose. And you want to push as hard as you can to try and take pole position, because around here, qualifying is really, really key. If you're starting 10th, good luck on trying to get any higher, because it's so difficult to make overtakes around this track, especially when you're in this DRS train, and especially through that middle sector where you can't get past anyone. Even in the old style cars, it's pretty much single file.
Yeah, PK versus, I think, Mansell back in 86 and sliding on the last turn 1, of course. Track's only been touched upon since. Turn 1's been modified as well into now a more open hairpin. this section here, turn 12, got modified away from a chicane. The rest of the track is identical to what it was back in the 80s.
Well, you talk about 1986, but you got to remember that's 20 years before I was born.
Yeah, that's true, but it's not that far away, unfortunately, from when I was born. Yeah, so yeah, it's a good circuit, this one, but I must admit, I utterly prefer the original Hungaroring to what we have now with the slight tweaks. The original was much more challenging than what they smoothed out the last corner and turn 1 that we're here now with Yannick Schmidt.
Yep, and Yannick coming out turn 1 now, obviously looking to improve, trying to take back that pole position that Kamil Sachar has got so far. Kamil and Yannick have been trading that pole position more or less throughout the session. Cameron stuck it on pole on his first lap, but couldn't really do so after that on his second run. But Yannick coming through the first sector, does he improve? He's up by 17,000, so an improvement for Yannick. And it's not much of an improvement, but any improvement can help now as he comes through in towards turn 5. Going to be heading up the hill, riding the curb as he heads down in towards turn 6 and 7. The chicane obviously wanted to just bump the curb slightly as you come through there. Heading now in towards the S's section 8, 9 and 10, the single file section. It's so difficult to get through there. As you know, head through in towards turn 11 before ending the middle sector. We'll see what lap time he can do. He's up by a 10th and a half. Good enough so far to take pole by a 10th nearly in this session as we now ride with him through in towards turn 13 now. Obviously looking to improve, can't make any mistakes. He's got to keep it all fine and safe through here. Now into turn 14, the final corner. Let's see. Can Yannick Schmidt try and take provisional pole from Kamil Sachar up to line? And yes, he can by a 10th and a half.
Mighty.
Oh, Kamil Sachar has spun.
Oh, no!
And Jack Humphries up to 3rd.
Coming out of turn 13, of course. What about Cameron? He's at the last corner. 33,000 up on his own best time. Cameron down to the line, only goes 3rd.
Yep, and also Miller Mayer is up by a 10th and a half in the middle sector. Can he try and get himself on a provisional pole? No, he can't. He goes second, though. Great there from Miller Mayer. Now we're on board with one of the Ferraris, Hubas, who's up by a 10th and a half as he comes through now in towards the final few stages of the lap. Sergio Sobrino improves up to 7th position. Drake Dempsey, championship leader. Where can he go?
Harlem only goes 9th. Drake Dempsey behind goes 6th. So Daniels coming to the line from 7th, stays 7th and goes to 6th. Now it's down for the last one across the line. Hubas stays 10th.
Yep, and Laminant up to 11th. And I think, yep, so Yannick Schmidt takes pole by a 10th over Miller Mayer and Kamil Sachar. But there, look at that gap. It's, what, 1,000th between Cameron and Jack.
Yes.
It's a 10th, well, 60,000th between Milan and Jack. Yeah, very close grid so far. Obviously, everyone in the top 10 separated by under 4/10. Tomas, unfortunately, 5/10 back, which isn't ideal at all from the race, especially when you start in 11th. Jeremy, I believe, retired in the pit lane because he's now going to be starting 12/6 back off the field. But it's nice to see Milan Mayer up in the top 2, isn't it? Could be interesting for the start.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun as well. I just had to look back actually on who called the start last week, which it was you. So I've got it this week because couldn't remember because the CTC earlier on in the week throwing me off the kilter.
It does, especially when you go back. We've got other series to commentate over as well,
So
about
many.
3 or 4. Yeah. I won't say too many because it's all great racing every time, but there we are. The qualifying classification, Yannick Schmidt takes pole with a 114.756. Miller Mayer sits in 2nd, with Kamil Sachar in 3rd, Cameron Downs in 4th, Jack Humphries in 5th, Daniel Kaya in 6th, Drake Dempsey in 7th, Sergio Sobrino in 8th, Harlan Marquis in 9th, and Przemek Kubas takes out the top 10. Then finally, we've got Tomas Lebanon and Jeremy who take out the whole grid, the top 12. And having less people, it's easy to go through the grid. You haven't got to worry about fitting 20 names in 30 seconds. You can only go out half of that.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier. And in the chat, we have Cameron's dad saying, hi, boys. Hello, Cameron's dad. Hello, Jim. Let's go, son. Joshua. Anas Anajar says Joshua.
Hello. Hello.
Yurian.
Hello. I know you are. Hello.
Yurian says, come on, Cameron. And Jean says, Yannick, go to... Oh, full wet. Now...
That's it. We're going to do a lap, Richie, then everyone's going to crash out.
This could make it interesting, couldn't it, Josh? Only a bit.
Yeah, well, this makes it work. And to think we got asked a question earlier, did we want to stream?
Well,
of course we do.
It could make some interesting battle. Was it Hungary last season when we had battle in here? I'm sure was it Harlem? I'm sure it was involved somewhere.
It was Inters, wasn't it? That race turned to Inters.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was PSGL, wasn't it? I'm 100%
Yeah.
sure. It's one of the wet Grand Prix at Hungary.
Yeah, because the last time we were at Hungary, that was for a series that
You
got
know what?
cancelled. That was only the testers, wasn't it?
The people I feel sorry for the most are these pit crews standing outside in this weather.
I know. Look at them.
Poor people.
I don't know why they look like they're on guard, however.
They look like they're doing the
Quite-
T-pose, all inside of each other, standing in the
Yeah.
wet. Poor guys. And then
all
you got all...
inside of each other doing the T-pose. What on
Oh,
earth are
wow.
you? What's your Friday nights consisting of, Richie?
It's only Thursday.
Oh, God, I keep doing that. Do you know,
Well,
it's because tomorrow is qualifying day.
I've got to say, there's a lot of marshals, isn't there? You can see on the left side, all standing down the pit wall.
No brollies.
And Josh, get ready to consider the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Last time we had a Hungary Grand Prix in the wet was 2021 IRO, where Bottas decided to turn it into a bowling course.
Still remember that weird start. Lights out for Lewis only. Anyway, no formation lap. You know the score. 12 cars, 6 rows. Waiting for the lights. Lights on in a very, very wet Budapest. Lights out, race on. Good start from Yannick Smits as well. Milan Miller's going to have the inside line down towards turn number 1. Camille as well going to stay in 3rd position. And Milan's going to go for it. Late on the inside. Yannick goes to the outside. He's got the braking zone. Locks up a little bit too much. Milan's going to have the inside line though. Yannick goes wide. Milan Miller's going to take the lead. Battle is still 1-2 at the moment. Yannick has the inside line. Now we'll get it through. Milan tries on the outside at turn 3 as well. That'll get the cutback for 4. Doesn't work. Yannick keeps the lead on the run up to the hill. Then we've got Milan 2nd. Camille is in 3rd. Daniel Culler's 4th. Cameron Downs is up into 7th position. And congratulations, Richie. They all got through the first corner without making contact.
Yes, without making contact. Currently we've got a Mercedes and Red Bull. That's Drake and Jack fighting for 5th position. They head now into turn 5, into turn 6, side by side on the chicane. This could end badly. We'll see. Does Jack back out? Yes, he does. So Drake Dempsey up into the top 5. Further down, we've got Cameron Days looking to also gain on the back of Jack Humphries as they come out at the final end of, well, through the middle of sector 2. But bad start for Yannick. Well, I wouldn't say bad start. Great start off the line. Lost it down into turn 1 after locking up. Then somehow has managed to breach the gap to over a second again from Miller Mayer. So their battle must have lost out sometime for Milan at least, because the gap's over a second now. Starchart looking to start to gain on Miller Mayer, so that could get interesting between these two. Obviously, oh, that's Harlan Marquis gone off track there, down at turn 12, going for the inside. Oh no, it was Laminen, sorry. Yep,
they're making battles together. Laminen's on the inside of Jeremy, is swapping over for 10th and 11th.
Oh, and they make contact. That was Laminen there, hitting the side of Jeremy. They make contact again, coming out of turn 14 now, as they charge down towards turn 1. Sergio Sabrino's had a bit of an incident somewhere, because he's sitting 2 seconds back, but we'll see. Jeremy on the inside, 2 minutes Laminen round the outside. Who's going to break later? Who's going to take the position? I think for now, it might be 2 minutes, but actually, he starts to go a little bit wide. That allows Jeremy with a tighter line out the corner, has better traction, but then we're going to have 2 minutes fighting back up the inside. These two really fighting for this 10 position hard, aren't they, Josh?
That's very tight to go through and stick the move, and he's done it. Laminen goes up into 10th position. Great job there. Now, the entirety of the field is on wet compound tyres. No one's even risked going on for the other form of intermediates. So, oh, correction, Sergio Sabrino, intermediates, according to my screen. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Sergio started on intermediates, and that's twice now 3.3 seconds behind.
Yeah.
So he's the one to gamble.
The thing is, though, just so he's lost 3, we'll say 3 seconds in 2 laps, so we'll say 1.5 seconds per lap.
Yeah.
Well, pardon me, if the rain dries up, just say 5 laps' time, Sergio's going to be about 12 seconds back. He then officially has the lead if it says on inters. So possible. They'll have to pit again, but it's possible.
Yeah,
so obviously,
look, can you see any rain? I can't actually see any rain on the camera lens.
I can.
Oh,
if you look.
Now in the 3rd sector, yeah. I was just going to say, because in the 2nd sector, it didn't look like it was raining, but by the time you get to sector 3, it is raining.
Obviously, also to talk about the championship, obviously Drake is leading the championship some points ahead of Jan. Yeah. He wants to obviously extend that championship lead more. Yannick Schmidt takes the fastest up at 32.4. But also Cameron Days obviously wants to be hunting down for this championship, but sitting in 7th, you're not going to be winning a championship doing that, are you?
No, I think we've got to crown Drake as the prospect champion coming
Harlan.
soon. It's all getting chaotic, aren't they? Coming into the braking zone.
Harlan looking for a move. I think last time we saw him, he was in the Inters fighting for P1, 2 and 3 here last season. I believe also there's another Haas involved. I don't know why Haas comes to mind, but it does. But now we come out of turn 2 in towards 3. Obviously, Harlan looking to put a bit of pressure on Przemek in the Ferrari. I probably don't say that name correctly, but I still don't know how to pronounce it, so I'll pronounce it how it looks. As we come through now into turn 5, Dempsey looking to start to improve on the back of Daniel Kay, obviously wanting to get through into 4th. Kamil nearly a second back off of Milan Mayer, so Milan looking to produce some great pace so far. Daniel nearly a second back off Kamil, so the gaps are all growing larger, and the issue now that creates for Drake is if he's got more pace than these guys, and by the time he gets past, the gap's over 2 seconds to the leader at the moment. It's about, have a little look on the gap to lead. There we are. So Drake is 3.6 seconds back after 3 laps. So if he can't get through on Daniel and Kamil soon, he's going to be struggling to try and fight for this lead because the gap is growing more and more. It's nearly at 4 seconds now.
And of course, one thing we've got to consider here, we haven't got DRS either. So this gap is going to stay the same. The only advantage they've got in wet conditions is the fact they've got ERS, and they are all keeping their ERS at around about 100%, so they're not using it. I'm looking through the entire field. I've only seen a couple that are low on 80. Well, so everyone's using it as much as possible.
Drake looking to gain within 2/10 of Daniel into turn 1. Obviously got a bit of better straight line speed. Can't make anything work just yet. Look at the telemetry data to see what ERS people are using. Drake's on 81%, Daniel on 92, Kamil's on 80, Milan's on 80, and Yannick, as normal, is on 100%. So obviously Drake wanted to burn a little bit more than Daniel to just try and catch up and possibly look to try and get through. Kamil now 1.4 seconds back off Milan, so he's starting to lose time. Daniel, however, now starting to gain back onto the back of Kamil and just trying to stick within 6 or 7 tenths would be ideal. He's now 8 tenths back. Drake starting to gain within 3 tenths. The issue now is once Drake starts to gain in more and more, that will put Daniel under more pressure. He might lock up more, trying to defend into braking zones and just trying to push a bit more in corners, and that's, you know, when you're under pressure, in general, it's not good. But when you're under pressure under a wet Hungary ring, that is really not ideal at all from any driver on the track.
I know this race used to take place behind the Iron Curtain, but I don't agree with the USSR style of pressure that's getting put on these drivers. It must be like being interrogated, because you are literally threading the eye of the needle every single lap. And this place, you go off once, you're hitting a barrier, and that's your race over.
Yeah.
And there's so much. There's only 2 drivers here outside the points, Jeremy and Sergio. So everyone's fighting for points in the championship they were competing in.
Yeah, I suppose many people would like to call this the Green Monaco. It's got grass. That's the only difference.
Yeah, that's it. Bang on.
As they head into turn 1, obviously, Cameron also losing time now to Jack Humphries. So Cameron losing a bit of pace. Przemek starting to gain a little bit on Cameron. The gap's about 3 tenths between those two. So Cameron's made a mistake somewhere to lose so much time in such a short time as we come through now in towards turn 2. Obviously, Przemek, I don't think scored points last weekend last week in Mexico.
No, he didn't.
And we only had 14 drivers there. Unfortunately, we've only got 12. So the thing that helps the top 10 is that they're all going to score points. Jeremy's not going to score points, and neither is Sergio Sabrino at the moment as it stands. So realistically, if you're in a lobby of 20 and you're near enough last, you're like, oh, great, that's 17th. But when you're in a lobby here and you're 3 from last, you're only 10th. So it's like, well, I'm still getting points. So out of a lobby of 12, you've got what? There's 12 of you. There's like a what? 2 in 12 chance you'll actually be outside the points.
That math adds up.
So, you know, like realistically, it's got to be, unless you made a mistake or you're just not on the pace, you're going to be finding the points anyway. If you start in the top 5, chances are you'll finish in the points, because it's very rare you'll just drop down 5 positions from normal pace. You'll stick within that train of people. Daniel gaining within, gaining within 3 tenths of Kamil stature as they head through out of turn 14. Yannick yet again taking the fastest lap.
132, 140, yeah.
Look at gap to leader. The gap now between Kamil and Yannick is 3.8 seconds. The gap between Milan and Yannick is 2 seconds. Oh, that was Daniel there looking for a move on Kamil Thatcher down in towards turn 1. Can't get it done, but Kamil had to go defensive. Would have lost a bit of... Yeah, not too close behind yet, but obviously into the braking zone, Kamil would have had to brake a little bit earlier, or later at least, and just defend. Obviously lost a bit of time on the entry, but on the exit, you got a bit of a better line than Daniel, whoever was to hold it off. But Daniel's looking to put some great pressure on the back of Kamil at the moment, so we'll be looking more and more to try and get a move done. Sergio Sabrino's had an incident because he's now 26 seconds back from leader. It was a lot less than that beforehand. Obviously, Jeremy.
Those intermediate tyres are really done for. I'm watching him now, actually, Richie. He's struggling like crazy. The rain is actually increasing, if that's possible. So we're going to have a definite full race as well. But Daniel, 7 tenths at the moment. with Drake just behind him. Jack Humphries just on the cusp of this little battle. But I would say the battle, as I think you'd agree, is between 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. I think first and second are out their own league now. The gap's only
Yeah.
2 seconds between Kamil and Milan, and it's over 2.3 seconds between Yannick and Milan. So I think first and second are pretty much sorted. Third, fourth, and fifth, however, is a different story. Obviously, Jack just sitting within a second at the moment, so obviously not going to be trying to fight too much on the back of these, but we'll just be sticking around that mark and not trying to push too hard. Further down, Harlem, sitting on the back of Przemek. That's for 7th, 8th and 9th. Sorry, Milan Mayer goes quickest though with the 32.107, so starting to put a bit more pace down in the Williams as they head down to turn 1 yet again. Daniel Kvyat still within 4/10, so got a bit better straight line speed over Kamil, but on a track like this, it's really difficult to make anything work in order to get past, especially when it's wet.
So now the battle, 7 laps old of the 35 we've got scheduled. And there's still a little bit to race for. Don't go switching over and writing this race off yet. We're still going to have interested. Can we go full distance? We saw it on Monday, actually, in Australia. The wet tyres could do the distance. Do you think that's a similar prospect here? Tyre degradation is high. It's a very difficult circuit to get right. I reckon we could see at least one stop, maybe two inters late in the race.
Well, I think it'll either be a wet to wet or a wet to inter. But we might see one driver, maybe someone near the back like Tomas or Jeremy, might think, actually, you know what? We'll stay out on our tyres and just see what happens. We'll stay out on these wets, and we'll just see if we can get to the end on them. Because you never know, you might be able to. Obviously, we saw at Australia, I think it was CTC. We did have a couple of drivers get to the end on their wet tyres, nearly dead by the end, but it's still possible. And now Drake, look at that. He's right on the back of Daniel within 2/10 as they head through now into turn 13. And you can see, oh, that's Kamil going deep down at turn 13. That's going to allow Daniel...
Wow.
Yeah, really deep. That allows Daniel to close in a little bit there. The gap's 2/10. Could see a use of ERS there for Daniel to try and get through. Kamil has a massive slide through turn 14.
No DRS.
ERS open for Daniel as he now heads down towards turn 1. Can he try and get through on Kamil? I think he will. Kamil's going to defend the inside. Daniel's, however, got to go up the inside.
Beautiful, beautiful move. Up into third position as well. Camille's going to be under pressure from Drake immediately, though.
Yep, as they come through into turn 2.
Out.
Kamil, go for the move, back on Daniel into turn 2. They need to make contact. That's going to allow Drake to gain in a bit there. As these two still going side by side through into turn 3. Kamil on the outside, backs out there, was looking for a switch back, can't make it work. Drake was looking to gain, but unfortunately had a bit of a slide. Coming out to turn 3, into turn 4 now. Daniel leading this pack for third. Obviously not really in much of a fight for the championship, being as he isn't here all the time, but he's still showing that he's got the pace to be here in F2.
Big snap from Camille as well coming out. Drake just about avoided the snap himself, but out of turn 6 is very, very tricky.
Yep, and now it could be a chance for Drake to try and get through on Kamil if he can and get himself into 4th. Obviously in 5th he should be fine considering he's leading the championship, but it's not where you want to be. Look at this, Kamil losing so much time, having oversteer and loss of traction everywhere. Now it's Drake's time to have to try and get through, possibly down in towards turn 1. 75% of VRS for Kamil, 73% for Drake, so they're not on, no one's on much of an advantage when it comes to battery. You can see though Kamil seems to make a lot of mistakes in the braking zone, seems to go a little bit deep and loses time. The issue is though, it then loses time for Drake because Drake's going to get through on Kamil, and also you can see the gap now increasing between Daniel and Kamil. Yannick goes fastest yet again with a 31.9, the first round to get to the 31s. No, Daniel Kvyat says, no, I'll take the fastest lap, also with a 31.9 as well. And now Drake looking still to try and gain on Kamil. And Kamil seems to brake so early, doesn't he, into the braking zones? I mean, so early.
He's losing, what, a second now over that lap time? Yeah, he is. So that's not great on the opening lap. Drake needs to get through quickly, otherwise he's going to fall back very fast.
It never allows Jack Humphries to get involved because the gap between Jack and Drake was over a second. It's now half a second, sorry. So, you know, people are getting brought back into this. Cameron also being dragged back in. He's within a second of, well, just about within a second of Jack. And also Przemek is also within 6/10 of Cameron. So everyone in that top 8, top 9, 3rd to 9th, are all in this battle for 3rd possibly, depending on how pit stops work and how tyre degradation and rain works. But you can see Drake there within 3/10. The gap's 1.2 seconds between Daniel, and if Drake can't get through soon, it's going to be really difficult for Drake to try and get through and get 3rd. At the moment he's looking for a best of 4th because he just can't get through on Kamil at the opportunities he's being given. As he now comes through in towards turn 11, and you can see able to get the power a bit more, having more slides there from Kamil, so it could be a differentiation of setup. Or could just be comfortableness in the car. And Kamil, yet again, going deep into turn 12. Into turn 13, does he go deep again? No.
Drake's got a line. You look at that. He was hugging the inside. Drake wants to get through. Just touches, lightly kisses the back.
Oh,
they're both
pits.
pitting. Is
So,
this for Inters?
It's got to
Must
be.
for Inters.
They're
Oh, they're
staying
touching together in the pit lane. My goodness.
Ooh, and again. Oh, bit of a tap
that was
there.
too early. That's too early for Camille to break. Drake won't be happy with that
Oh,
one.
they're Inters. They're going Inters.
Yeah.
So this
But
is an
it
interesting call.
Hasn't rained. There's been no rain for about 2 laps. I
Well-
thought someone might gamble.
The top 9 staying out. Sergio could also come back into play barely. Yeah, and yes, Sergio isn't losing much time.
Yeah.
Well, no, if not, he's gaining time on this pack. So this could be a possible great, undercut, I suppose you can say, from these guys. Sergio starting to gain a little bit more now onto the back of the
Look,
pack.
it's only spitting now, Richie.
Up
as
to
well,
leader.
so
37
this is good.
seconds. So obviously, Sergio's still way out of the pit stop, but it's helping him get back into this little bit of a gap and closing within about 10 or 11 seconds to the guys who have pitted. And we'll have to see now how it's going to work for Camille, if it works for Camille and Drake, and what the top guys decide to do. Obviously, I think no matter what happens, Yannick should be safe. He's 4 seconds ahead of Daniel, 7 seconds ahead of Jack Humphries.
Yeah, and Drake just had a little bit of a slide, and they're both fighting it, but they're looking quick, Richie. So I think everyone's going to come in for intermediates now.
Let's see what happens. Obviously, they've made the first brave call. Let's see if it works. So the gap's 26.8 seconds. We'll have to see when the crossover starts. Obviously, their tyres are going to be colder at first, getting out onto the track. So they're going to have to give them time just to get a bit to grip. But they're not losing much time at all now. If not, they're starting to slowly gain time on this pack. And no pit stops yet from the top 3.
Jack Cameron in. Is Prima's going to come in?
No.
I think no, it stays
Jeremy
out.
does.
As Jeremy pits, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So 3 in for Inters.
It's a big shame for Jeremy, though, that he's 15 seconds behind the leader after 11 laps. That's a big gap. Heavy gap.
So-
And
So much has gone, hasn't
now we'll
it?
see how much of an advantage do Camille and Drake have over the guys ahead.
Jack, it's going to be
Jack.
close because they're leaving the pits.
It's going to be very close, and I think they've just
There
about
they
got it.
are. Oh, this might not work out to Drake's advantage. He's going to come out right between them with the McLaren, right around the outside. Drake's going to give Cameron enough room. The 2 championship antagonists battling it out. And Cameron's on the outside. Drake's going to keep it through on the inside, down towards turn number 2. Lightly touching. Cameron just getting enough room on the outside. Drake gets oversteer, just about avoids. And Cameron goes through, but Drake holds through. They make contact. Drake goes wide. Cameron stays on the black stuff and keeps the position. Great couple of corners.
Yep, so I think a bit too early of a call there for Drake Dempsey. We'll have to see if he can try and get through back on Cameron soon. But big shame. Obviously, the person who's leading the championship is now behind someone who we said at the start of the season could be fighting for it. At the moment, Cameron is about 20 points back, so it's going to be very, very close to impossible. But still, obviously not ideal for Drake to be behind him. As we now head through towards 8, 9, and 10. When do the guys of Yannick, Mel, and Daniel all decide to think we'll pit as well? Because it's got to be sooner or later. And Yannick, but Yannick's still going quickest. So I think it's more the point of there's not much of a crossover now. It's pretty much any tyre can work, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
We've got Harlem into the pits as well.
Time. It's golden time. Everybody gets exactly the same situation. Wets are fine. Inters are fine. So choose.
And obviously 7th to 12th have gone for that into strategy. Big shame for Sergio, though, who went into at the start. Obviously didn't work.
Yeah.
He's 4 seconds still off people who have pitted. And Harlem, he's going to come out right behind this pack. I think he will at least. Let's see where Harlem comes out. Actually, Harlem comes out ahead of Drake Dempsey. But he's gone. But Harlem's gone on to wets.
Oh, he stayed with wet tyres. Now is that it? Oh, I hope that's not an error. He's still faster though than Drake. Drake's going to go on the inside. They're going to make contact once again.
Yep, and Cameron just sitting ahead of them. And Harlem says the game put him on wets. So they're not ideal, even though we chose Inter. So either Harlem might just stay out as long as he can, or he might just try and pit again. And Drake going for the inside manoeuvre. Harlem going off track down at turn 5. Harlem's got the inside line though, but Drake seems to have a little bit better traction on the exit as he comes up to turn 5. And they're still going to go side by side. Harlem's not letting this one go just yet at all. As we come in towards the chicane, side by side, Drake has to hop the curb up the inside, pushes Harlem a little bit off track. Drake now 6 behind Harlem, but he goes up the inside and they send it and they make contact. Yeah, and Harlem keeping the position. Drake letting him back through. I think he knows, yeah, that was a bit silly from me. Harlem having a big slide, and Yannick still setting faster sector times. So, well, fastest lap times. He's on a 31.1, but now Drake's lost 2 seconds and Harlem to Cameron Dowds and those ahead. So big Yeah, really not worked out for Drake at all, having to fight Harlem. But Harlem also not great, obviously having to have a game issue. Now put him onto wets instead of inters. That's going to ruin his race. You know, realistically it will. But he's going to stay at some wets for now.
Well, mate, well, the crossover time is.
And the thing is, the gap to lead at is growing between Camel and Yannick. So I think the inters are working, but Yannick's just done something different as normal.
Camille is 13 seconds behind Laminen, and that's Camille was the first to pit, so he's leading that group who came in. So he's on 13 seconds a gap. 18 seconds in total. 2025.
Still, Drake.
Yannick will lead this race.
Drake can't get through on Harlem, and because of that, I think he should have let off realistically from Harlem. I think he pushed it way too hard on that lap to get through on Harlem because it's lost him time. And he's nearly a second back on Harlem. So actually, I think the wets might be just about quicker because Harlem's starting to slowly gain and lose on Cameron ahead. So it's hard to call which tyre's quickest.
Yannick's got a free pit stop, and my opinion will be take it next lap. So end of lap 14, start of 15. But push these wets as long as they can go, because right now they're working for him, but he has got a free pit stop.
Well, the wets are working for Harlem because he's right behind the rear of Cameron Dades as they come through turn 11. So maybe, and Przemek pits onto, well, he'll be pitting onto Inters as well as he comes into the pit lane. He's in fourth currently. And there we are. Harlem's still looking to try and get through on Cameron. Can't do so just yet. Obviously, doesn't want to push too hard on him, otherwise they're just going to lose time from battling. He wants to realistically get through. Down the main straight into turn 1, because he loses the most time and gets through easily, because he's got a lot better pace, I think, at the moment on these wets as they come out the final corner. Cameron with a little bit of a better exit, but Harlem will have ERS to use. Cameron's also burning as well. Which one will take the lead? Well, which one will take 8th into turn 1? Przemek actually comes out 6th. So he's come out. And that's Harlem up the inside of Cameron Des. They're going to go side by side out of turn 1 now. Heading down towards turn 2. It's the wets versus the inters. In towards turn 2. Actually, Cameron's going to be further back, but he's still sent up the inside on Harlem. Still trying to take this 8th position as it stands as they come through. In towards turn 3. I think Harlem's got a better line and he gets through on Cameron. Cameron backed off knowing, not too... You know, it's not worth fighting it. But look at that. Przemek has pitted his come out now. Technically, provisional 2nd or 3rd. So... This is getting spicy, and maybe they pitted way too early.
Tense fight, isn't it?
It is. It's an intense one, because obviously Tomas will, I think, drop down possibly... He'll drop down, I think, even behind Jeremy at this point, because he's quite far back off the lead. Daniel, Milan, and Yannick, though, are all involved in this battle here at the moment, which is 5th down to 10th, realistically. And it's going to be interesting what the drivers do. Obviously, the gap between Harlow and Jack is about 2.5 seconds, so there's lots of time there for Harlem to gain. And the question is, does the crossover point come when these wet tyres are worse than the inters? And if that does come, that's ruined it for Harlem because he's got this advantage now in 8th. But if he has to pit again because the wets get worse, then it's not ideal. Obviously, it's not his fault he's onto the wets because he had a game issue and it put him onto wets when he chose inters. Camel Statura goes quickest though now, so Camel starting to fight back. He's on a 30.9 now, and I think if he knows these inters are setting fastest laps, push. You need to push as much as you can to try and get through, and try and get on Yannick, Milan, Daniel. And Sergio Sereno goes quickest with a 30.8. Also, he's on the back of Jeremy though, however, as they come out of turn 1 and 2. Big sign there for Sergio, but the track getting better for these inter conditions. So we could see the top 4 in the pits within another 2 or 3 laps. Well, possibly within another 2 or 3 laps. The gap between Daniel and Yannick, 5.6 seconds. Daniel and Milan could be under a bit of pressure, but I think Yannick should be all right because of how much of a gap he's got to the rest of the field. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting pit stop from Milan and Daniel. We'll have to see where they filter out in the field. Because obviously when it comes to inters, it's currently Kamil, Przemek, Jack. Obviously, that could change when the top 4 pit. But for now, it's interesting. Yannick, there we go, goes into the pits. Does Milan join? Yes, he does. Does Daniel join them? Yes, he does. And Tomas, I believe, will also join them in the pit lane for a cheeky pit stop onto some Inter tyres. We'll have to see those who come through.
There we go. Free pit stop effectively.
Tomas stays out. He's staying out on the wets, which is a bit of an odd call. But there we are. Yannick onto Inters.
Yannick nearly got wiped out.
Milan onto Inters. And Daniel actually... Oh, wait, no. I thought Daniel got ahead of Milan then, but no, he's at to pit still. And Thomas Laminen takes the provisional lead of the race. Obviously, not pitting yet. Now we'll see. Where does Kamil come out to those guys ahead? Actually, Kamil's going to come out quite a far bit behind. They're still going to stay the top 3 for now. The gap's 3 seconds between, well, about 2 seconds between Daniel and Camille. We'll look at gap to interval.
Sergio, fastest lap, 1:31.28. Those tyres aren't dead.
No, they're still gaining, and well, they're
And
still working well.
And look at Yannick. He's right at the back of Laminin. Brand new intermediate tyres. Doesn't matter if they've just heated up. 15 up on wet's going to get dealt with. Nearly runs into the back of it. They did actually touch there. So Yannick forces Laminin into a little bit of a mistake at the rear. But goes through into turn 6 and breezes past like a knife through butter.
Yep. Yannick got a bit too eager going into turn 5 on Tumas. Tumas looked to hold him up. Sergio Sobrino gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's not great for Sergio at all. The issue is now, look at Harlem, he's up to pit, he's now come out 18 seconds behind in 12th. Not ideal at all, but the issue is now, is Laminin going to start holding everyone up to help Harlem possibly? Well, I wouldn't say it's going to help Harlem, but just to, you know, for the sake of holding everyone up to have a bit of a play around.
Yes, because they were saying that earlier on, weren't they? Are we reducing the race distance, otherwise there might only be 8 of us left. Luckily, they've all behaved today.
They've all got through, at least, so far.
I hope we finish with 12. I hope we don't have any retirements.
Well, I think it'd be the first race ever we've had no retirements if we do.
Yeah, I think it will be, actually.
And if I had to say, right, which race will get no retirements, I definitely wouldn't have said Hungary Wet.
Yeah, Hungary Wet would have been top tier. It was like, oh, we're going to have about 6 or 7 retirements, aren't we? But no, not one. Makes you think about the drivers who do race here normally, who crash out quite often as well, doesn't it?
That's all right. One name we don't see today, Bogdan Moldovan. It's a shame, isn't it? Because we normally see a lot of Bogdan.
Yeah,
But I think he said he's at a Romanian festival. I believe it was some music festival. So yeah, I know. It'd be nice if we had musical festivals in the UK where you're not under threat all the time. Go to a festival, you worry, no, will I get stabbed here?
Is that how big Glastonbury?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I've never been.
Jeremy gets a penalty. But yeah, it's sad to not see Bogdan with us. It'd be nice if he was, but I'm sure he'll be back next week as usual. Milan Mayap now on the back of the Alpine of Tumas Laminin, obviously going to look to try and get through, but a spin. Oh, is that? Oh, that's Drake Dempsey. He's had an incident, I think.
Drake and Jeremy, and Jeremy's got no front wing.
Oh, so is it Drake and Jeremy that had an incident? It must have been.
Hit Drake, yeah, taking off.
Milan Mayap at the top, looking to try and get through Laminin. Can't get through just yet. This now allows Daniel to try and gain a bit because Milan just can't get through whatsoever. Just riding in the back of the Alpine, just looking for the next opportunity to get through. Daniel's like, yes, I'm loving this. I can gain a bit more on these guys. And we'll have to see if Milan can try and get Tumas down to turn 1 because Tumas, he's going to defend this, by the way, as we go down to turn 1. He's going to take the outside line. Can he defend it? No, he can't. He sits back. So it seems like he's eager to try and take... Oh, but actually, no, he can't. So he's eager to try and defend the position, but as soon as they get close enough, he's like, actually, you know what, go. And the issue is, well, not the issue. The issue for Thomas, he's going to lose more time, but the good thing for Daniel is he's gained within 1.5 seconds. The gap was only 2 seconds between Milan and Daniel before. So Daniel's loving Tumas for this now. As we head up in towards turn 4 and 5, Jeremy's pitting. So even though Sergio's got a penalty and he started last and he was 26 seconds behind, he's now currently sitting in 9th comfortably. It could be easily looking for a top 10 finish. We've got Daniel still now getting on the back of Tumas, so that gap's starting to come down heavily as we head through the middle sector. Camille 4.1 seconds back, so obviously him pitting really early has really not helped at all. And we thought at one point maybe this early pit stop works. No, it's heavily not at all. They go through. Daniel going to go for an inside mover on... Oh, Tumas going to squeeze him on the inside there. Daniel's still going to try and fight it on the exit. Can he get through on Tumas? Yes, he can. And Tumas is going to send it, though, into turn 13. Oh, that was close. Nearly hit Daniel round. But he has to concede to that position and say, yeah, well, I'm not going to fight that one back because I'm unlocked. Well, my tyres are too slow. Yannick Schmidt takes the fastest lap with a 28.980. And the thing is, Josh, we've got 16 laps left. Do we see dry? Josh. Oh, I don't think Josh is with us. Hello? I think he's disappeared again. Yep, Josh has disappeared. Oh, no, he's not. No, Josh isn't here. But, Well, we could possibly see dry tyres near the end. I'm not sure because I don't get given the weather prediction. If you know it, Noel, it'd be nice if you could tell me. But yeah, unfortunately, as spectators, we never get told the weather prediction, so I've got to kind of guess. But if it does go dry, which it looks like it possibly will because of the rain slowing down, all too much having a slide. But the question is, I think it might have been quicker for him just to stay out on the tyres he was on before. And I think it would have been easier, to pit on the inters with everyone else because. I don't know, it's a hard one to call. Camel's starting to gain within a second of him now, so yeah, he's losing lots of time per lap. And Camel will be getting through sooner or later on Tumas. And obviously, it's more than likely he'll score staying as is. But yeah, chances are, there we are, Yannick sets fast lap, but yeah, chances are, no matter if it goes to wet or dry, whatever, Tumas should still score points because Harlem's 12 seconds behind P10 and Sergio's got a penalty. So it should be pretty easy for Tumas to score points. But now Camel looking up the inside of Tumas in towards turn 1. Does get through, but Tumas are going to fight around the outside as they head out of turn 1. That's Przemek also looking to gain on these two because Camel's through. Can Przemek get through? He's going to have to go to the inside there, but Tumas squeezes him in completely, leaving him hardly any space into turn 2. And then the Inter driver's got to go around the outside. Can he get through? I think he will. Tumas going to not be able to fight back towards turn 4. And I think that was very aggressive there from the Alpine, and he can't get through. So that's Przemek up into P5. Jack Humphrey's now also starting to gain onto the back of Tumas as well for P6. "10 minutes until rain stops." So that's before the end of the race, isn't it? That's about 7 laps time. So, this could be interesting. Very interesting. Now we got Jack looking to try and get through here on Tumas. Tumas basically just holding anyone up he can. Oh, Jack nearly hitting the back of him as he heads out of turn 11 because just that, those wet tyres are just so much slower in these conditions. And we head through now. Can Jack try and send up the inside of turn 13? No, he can't. He's going to have to look for it down in towards turn 1 possibly, or even down into turn 14 if he can get a good enough exit here. Yeah, he should have pitted, but we'll see. I think it would have been better in pitting. But Jack nearly hitting the back of him there. Also nearly hitting the back of him again. Just you can see no grip coming out the corners. Jack, he's not going to be able to adapt to it as quick because obviously he's used to braking later. Tumas isn't. And Jack's obviously still going to try and take as much of a normal line as he can. Tumas there, obviously now going behind the back of Jack, so Tumas down to 7th position. So, yeah, it's going to be a struggle, indeed. But we'll have to see what happens when it dries. Oh, hello, Josh. Welcome back. And Noel's told us in the chat that it's 10 minutes until the rain stops.
Hey.
So, 7 laps time, could see possible transition. 10 laps time, we could see possible transition to dries if it works. But the chances are, if it's 4 laps to the end, is it even worth it?
Nah, they'll just stay on the inters.
It just depends, yeah. It just depends how much it dries up, though, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what, though, that could help Drake Dempsey if he fancies being bold.
True, but look at this. Not Drake, so you got me mixed up. Sergio Sobrino starts on the inters, he's 20 seconds back. He's there looking to try and fight for 8th on the 10 lap older inters than Cameron. Obviously with the inters, I don't know if the inters work how they do in IRL F1, but obviously in IRL, if you get the inters to a certain point, they'll just turn into slicks. But then we go into turn into turn 12, and that's a double overtake from Sergio.
Whoa.
Into 7th there. Cameron being sent wide by Tumas, and Sergio saying, "Thank you very much, I'll take that position myself," and goes up into 7th. Great double overtake there, but he's got his penalty, so that is not ideal at all. And without his penalty, I'm sure he'd be a lot more happy about that move. But he's still going to drop behind them no matter what, because Drake's now also starting to gain onto this pack of 7th to 9th. Obviously, having that incident, I believe, with Jeremy, he's now down in 10th, which isn't ideal at all, considering he's the championship leader.
Yeah, that's why I think Sergio and Drake might gamble here for dry tyres when the rain stops. I mean, it's hardly falling in Sector 1. It's mainly Sector 3 that we're seeing the rain as Islanders are 126.98.
I think with the Sergio tries like to drop off. Of course, they'll drop off by the end, but I think it's more of a luck-based thing if they'll get to the end than not. I think it's more of you're either going to be looking tyres make it to the end, or 2 laps before the end the tyres say, actually, you know what, we'll give you a puncture. So yeah, I'm not quite sure because I don't really look in the degradation of tyres. But yeah, normally it's very lucky if you get to the end on the tyres. But he's got nothing to lose, so why not? Why not try and take them to the end at least? As we come through now with Cameron down, still trying to get on the back of Sergio Sabrina. Obviously lost the position to Sergio as well as getting through on Laminant. Drake there getting through on Laminant. Very aggressive. They're still going to go side by side though. Oh, and that's Ultimus. He's been spun around by Drake as they come through into towards turn 9. Drake got a bit aggressive there. Had the better tyres on. I think he just went for a bit too aggressive, and there Tumas gets spun around and loses time and drops down. Well, drops down to 10th, and he's 5 seconds back off Drake.
It's just getting ridiculous now, isn't it, with the amount of accidents we're seeing. Luckily, no one's been out of the race, though, completely.
And I think
Yannick leads by 3.8 seconds.
Yep, but Hubas, obviously, Hubas didn't score many points in the last race. He's now sitting in 5th, so that's great for him, of course, isn't it? Obviously making his 2nd race here, and he's going to be taking a P5. That's great.
And Lamden pits. Now, he's on wet tyres, 21 laps, and he's got a 5-second penalty.
Only retires.
No,
so,
why?
One retirement, Josh. We said we wouldn't get any, and we've got one.
Why did you do that?
But now...
Why did you retire?
Because he probably wouldn't have scored points.
He could have if he was bold enough to put on some inters.
Nah, because he would have dropped way behind Harlem anyway, so it wouldn't have been worth it at all. It's a shame he's pitted, but nah, it's what it is. We've got 11 runners. Obviously, Jeremy's just not going to score points as he's 21 seconds back with penalties. So anyone now realistically in the top 10 is going to score points unless they have a DNF or make a grave mistake, which loses them time and time and time. But yeah, obviously the top 10 so far: Harlem, Drake, Cameron, Sergio, Jack, Shemek, Kamil, Daniel, Milan, and Yannick. Obviously Yannick leading by 4 seconds to Milan. Obviously Milan, I believe, didn't he take P? Did he take P2 in China? For some reason I thought he did. I'm sure he took it. Sure, he took a podium in China, yeah. That'd be great for him. Obviously, Yannick as well. Would be nice to take a win home. Obviously, unfortunately, losing the WR Championship to Daniel Hjelsen on the final race. I think the gap was about 3 points to the line, but Yannick got a penalty and lost it completely there. So, obviously, Yannick not happy at WR, but well, he's not going to win the championship here. But a win definitely helps. Your motivation to do well, and it shows he's got the pace especially. And if he would have been here racing since the start every race, he would have definitely been in the fight for the championship, I think, for definite. As we come through into turn 3, however, the only battle realistically on track is between Kamil and Shemek, and also we've got a little battle between Sergio and Cameron, but that one's not really brewing up at all.
It's getting very tense now, this little battle that we've been playing up with each other. I'm actually quite excited about this.
The sky's getting lighter, the track's getting drier, the rain's slowing down, Jeremy takes the fastest lap.
All is right.
Could get interesting. Could get very interesting.
I don't know what to say. This could get very tense.
It could.
There's so much anticipation.
Well, we all remember Norris's heartbreak at Russia, but this time it's the opposite.
Oh, don't say that now. Yeah, it goes to dries instead.
Possible. We'll have to see. But it's one of them. It's like, well, will it depend on when it goes dry? Is it going to be worth pitting, or is it going to be worth just trying to stay out on the inters and just try and get to the end at that point? Because you see the track. I wouldn't say it's dry, but it's getting close to being virtually dry on the racing line.
What a cracking race that was in Russia, by the way.
And look how light the sky's getting.
Yeah, it's getting really bright now.
And the rain's near enough stopping, I think. Down the straight, you can see barely anything. You can see the drops of rain, but it's not like it was before at all.
I think it dry line appearing within 10 laps, possible actually.
Within 5 laps, I think, possibly, because there's a dry line. There's practically a dry line now forming. You can see.
It's the time you lose in the pit lane, though.
Jeremy, another penalty.
Yeah, loses it. It's
Also,
the time you lose in the pit lane, though, is around about 18 to 25 seconds.
And Cameron's got through on Sergio. That was down at turn 1, I believe. Sergio's still going to try and fight back out to turn 3. Can't do so just yet. So that's Sergio taking fate and sticking in that 8th position. Obviously, if you can stick within 3 seconds, well, if you can stick over 3 seconds of Sergio, he will. He will obviously take 8th. Jeremy with another penalty. With another fastest lap, along with his penalties. Could be getting the fastest lap if he goes off track a little bit more than normal. That could also be why he's getting fastest laps. But we head down into turn 12 with the gap with 4 tenths between 4th and 5th. Between Hubasht and Stacherat. We'll have to see when does Kamil have to start to defend, because Przemek is he's actually gaining a lot of time, isn't he, on the back of Kamil now. The gap's under 4 tenths as they head through in towards the final corner. 79% battery for Przemek and 79% for Kamil. And they're heading down the main straight ERS being used for the Ferrari. Can he try and get through into turn 1? Camel's going to go on the inside. That's Przemek going around the outside. Gets knocked onto the curb. He's going to have to go for a switchback out of turn 1. Camel defends perfectly, and for now, the Ferrari has to stick behind the Aston Martin as they head down in towards turn 2.
Beautiful tight defending there from Camille. Przemek going to try and just sort of hold it back. The Ferrari pushing as hard as possible up the hill towards turn 4 and 5. Nope, nothing. Camille's got this one.
For now, at least, anyway. The gap's 9 seconds between him and Daniel, so I think even if any pit stops come, Daniel, Milan and Yannick are fine. Look at gap to leader quickly. Oh my god. Right. 15 seconds to 4th. 15 seconds. 38 seconds to 10th. It's not a free pit stop at all, really, because the pit stop's around over 20 seconds, so...
We've got cars in every single sector, by the way.
Oh.
And it's 11 cars
well, Josh,
in the race.
I wouldn't say that's a good thing.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's an 11 car race. We've got cars in every sector. That's bad.
We're only 26 laps in, but looking through, Przemek still looking to gain a lot on Camel, but just can't get through. We could see possibly another battle then towards turn 1.
Revving up like crazy. Good exit now. Now, what we're going to see for the Ferrari, can he get ahead of Camille? Going to use all of his DRS up towards 8th gear. Inside line, getting defensive as well. Going to pull to the outside line. Can he get the slipstream on for a cutback? He breaks hard mid-corner, gets on the attack. ERS not in deployment just yet as they run down towards turn 2. Now it's activated. Down the straightaway. Pulls down the outside once again. Not going to work. Both run a little wide. And Przemek trying to go back through on the run up to the turn 4 complex. Nope. Camille again with good defending. Can the Ferrari get anything at the top of the hill? No, he cannot. It's another lap again.
And I think a lot of this as well is to do with tyres. Camel's on... Oh, and that's Jack Humphries with the penalty. But yeah, you can see Camel's on 17. That's Przemek is on 13. So that's 4 laps difference. And that can be a hefty difference, possibly. And this could also explain why Camel's starting to lose a lot of time to the guys behind. As we go through now in towards turn 8, 9 and 10. Obviously, the Ferrari's still looking to get all. Camel goes off track there. So this is going to allow the Ferrari to close up through into turn 11. Not going to look for a move down to turn 12. Actually, he might do, because look at that. He's getting loads into turn 12.
Beautiful
and he gets
move.
through.
Can he hold it? Yes, he can.
Camel's going to try and fight back. Can he try and fight back? No, he can't for now, but he's going to have to see if he can get it down into turn 1 and try and fight back for that 4th position, because Hubas now, obviously making his 2nd appearance here in F2. I think it's one of his first appearances here in PSGL. Looking for a P4. Great.
Really good, strong stuff.
And the rain, I believe, has stopped.
It has. It has stopped. So are we going to see anyone pit for dry tyres and take that gamble?
Yep, the rain's completely stopped. Oh.
Sergio pits. I'm worried for him now. Jeremy's got a time penalty.
But Sergio's got nothing to lose, has he?
No.
Does he pit onto softs? Will it be soft? Surely it'll be softs with 7 laps.
Harlan
pits.
It's soft tyres.
Yep, there we are. So soft tyres for Sergio. Will also probably be soft tyres for Harlem.
I'm looking.
And the question is, will that work out for them? The gap to leader now we'll look at.
Harlem's on medium.
Could be due to his... Yeah, no, but it could also be due to the fact of his tyre allocation if he's got enough soft tyres to run. But we'll see. Obviously, they're 47 seconds back, so even if Yannick pits now, they're not really going to lose. Then, you know, it's not like they're going to gain a lot, realistically. Gap to interval. We'll have a look. So 20 seconds between Drake.
I'm looking on board with Sergio.
Sergio could try and get through on Drake and Cameron, possibly. But with his penalty, that doesn't make it very easy. But we head through.
Richie,
what?
Track's dry. Track is dry.
So Yannick stays out. Milan stays out. Daniel, have you got anyone pitting? I don't think we have. Milan's gone fastest on the Inters, though. Daniel's gone fast on the Inters. Now they're all pushing, ready to get some laps set. And hopefully move on to the softs soon. We'll see what Drake can do. Will he pit or will he stay out? Camel pits, though. Jack Humphries pits.
It's dry. Sergio Sabrino.
Cameron stays out, though.
Sergio set the fastest middle sector. He's on it. I can see on the dashboard. He's on it. He is on it right now. Cameron goes to 5th.
Don't know why Cameron stayed out. Don't know why the top 3 stayed out.
Yeah. Can Sergio get ahead of Camille? He's the one that we will go look. They're coming out the pit lane now. I think he's going to lose out, you know.
He's easily going to lose out.
Die.
No, but he's still. But pitting for softs for Sergio was still the right idea.
Yes, it was, but it's a shame.
Because Drake, they're going to be close. Drake and Sergio, though, into turn 1. because Sergio's got to. I mean, Drake's got to warm up his tyres. So look at Sergio right at the back of Drake now, right on the back of the Red Bull as they come out to turn 1, and Drake just a second ahead. We'll look at back at gap to interval. We go through the gap 6/10. Also, that's Harlan getting through, and Jeremy's only just got into the pits, and he's only just swapped his tyres. So Jeremy pretty much out of the race so far. But hats off to him for staying in the session and not retiring.
Yes. I agree with that.
As we go through.
Oh, Yannick pits. Yannick's in the pits. Oh, and Jeremy's got a 5-second time penalty for crossing the pit lane exit white line. Top 3 are in.
No, Camille.
Camille's going to take the lead here.
No, he's not.
For sure.
No, he's still too far back. He's about 30 seconds back. He's going to get through on Przemek and Cameron, but not on the top 3.
DRS enabled.
Yeah, Yannick's already at the pit, so there's nothing Camille could do there. I think he's made about at least 4th between Hubas and Dowds.
Oh.
Cameron, what? What is Cameron saying out?
But
unless he just. But actually, this could work. This could. It's going to be close because the gap's a leader. Cameron, remember, he was down with Jack. That's 39 seconds back. If Cameron can hold, it's going to be hard, but I think he could. If he can hold 40 seconds, nearly, in 5 laps. That's making sure, obviously, we're going to battle there between Przemek and Camille. But Cameron should be able to not lose 10 seconds a lap to Jack. So I think it's still, I think it's still possible for Cameron to at least do well. Camille and Daniel, no, sorry, not Camille and Daniel. So Camille and Przemek still fighting for this position. They've been fighting all race long. They've gone from front of the Inters to fighting on the soft tyres. Obviously, you can see here, Hubas just warming up his tyres as he comes through, snaking up in towards turn 4. Camille, his tyres are, well, 1 lap older. Better in terms of having that bit of an undercut, as we were talking through earlier. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm sick and tired of saying the word undercut, because obviously I'm doing esports at college, and I spent all day... Sorry about that,
Cameron's
Josh.
been passed. Yeah, so Cameron's been passed, so Inters are now not the right time. He needs to be on dries.
Yeah, and I was saying before, I spent all day on the internet looking about overcuts, undercuts, researching, finding examples all throughout the day, and the word has just bored me out. So thanks to my college tutor for giving me an essay on bleeding F1 strategies, because it's killed me completely. But now enough of that. We head down to turn 1. Cameron, I think, will... it's going to be so close. If he can hold it back, the gap between Cameron and Camille is 10 seconds. And Josh, remember last time? Kota, he didn't pit. Remember that? And he lost the win.
History.
Cameron doesn't work well with wet to dry or dry to wet strategies, does he?
If it rains, he's in trouble, basically.
See, because I like Cameron that much, I'm going to blame his engineer.
Yeah,
and I know his engineer is normally, it's Sebastian Bobek, and I'm good friends with Bobek, so, yeah.
Is it?
So I'll blame him as usual. Always blame the Haas engineer.
You'll have Roman Grosjean after us, I think.
Well, actually, probably won't. Actually, probably won't be Seb, because he's probably going to be doing one of the RHG guys, yeah. So maybe it's Cameron's dad's fault. Has Cameron's dad been the engineer today? Or unless Cameron's made the fault himself. That's also the other possibility, and the most likely one.
Whatever, yeah. He's still got 7 seconds. He's still got 8 seconds.
But I think he could. It's going to be. We'll have a look at gap to interval gap now, because I do want to see, because this is going to be interesting. It's going to be so close. Cameron's coming through to start lap 33. Got a spin. Oh, is that Sergio? It's Sergio. No, he's had an issue, and he's lost it down at the final couple of corners. But also, the issue is, look at this. 5/10. Przemek has got DRS. He's got ERS. This could ruin it for Camille, though, because he's going to have to be fighting here on the back of the Ferrari into turn 1. So they could lose time from this battling. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yellow third sector now again.
Yeah, that's Harlem.
That's Harlem going round now, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because look, now Jeremy's within 2 seconds of Harlem.
Oh, wow, that's worked out for Jeremy, then.
But he has got the penalties, so it kind of invalidates it. But there we are, Hubas within 2/10 of Camille as they head up in towards turn 5. Can he try and get through? Hubas has seemed to have really good pace so far today, but just hadn't managed to get it to work. But also, Jack Humphries on the medium saying, "Oh, I'll come and join the battle if you don't mind."
He's going, doesn't he? He's heated those mediums up lovely as well in the Mercedes. Only 9/10 behind now. So, Yannick leads by 3 seconds to Milan Mayer as well, and Daniel Kildare is going to complete the podium at the moment.
Now, we'll throw out turn 11. The gaps.
Sorry, Camille goes wide, and Przemek goes through into 5th position. Brilliant.
And now Cameron's 4 seconds back as they start lap 34. So Cameron's got to just try and hold back for two more laps now. because they're onto lap. The Cameron's just started lap 34. The other two were as well. And now look at Jack Humphries. Going to be looking for a move on Camel Stature to try and take 6th position. Down in towards turn 1. He's got the better size, but there we are. More batch for Camel. Allows him to try and pull away more, but there we are. Jack Humphries going to go around the outside. Camel has the inside line out of turn 1. Oh, and Jack spins. Oh, and they make contact. That was a close one indeed. And Jack now slits back behind into 7th. Well, that could have ended badly. That could have ended really, really badly as they came out of turn 1. Big start for Jack. I believe it's because he hit the curb. Drake Dempsey's also going to be trying to get involved as well. But the gap's 2 seconds between Przemek and Cameron. This is the main battle now for 4th position. Who's going to come out on top? Is it going to be Cameron in the McLaren or is it going to be Przemek in the Ferrari? Also, that's Jeremy getting through on Harlem there. Harlem having another mistake or just the DRS advantage from Jeremy on the soft tyres.
Well, that was shades
the gap's 7 tenths, 6 tenths.
That was shades of Vettel as well, wasn't it? Being into the side of Button in Belgium in 2010, and now it's getting so tight as well at the front. Jack's going to find a way through. There's more battles at the front as Przemek goes through into 4th position, passing Cameron. Cameron's now going to sink like a stone with 2 to go, and Jack Humphries gets a penalty. 3 seconds for multiple warnings.
Another 3 seconds. That's now put Drake Dempsey up into 7th. We'll see. Oh, Cameron, is he gonna get DRS? Yes, he does get DRS. This could be a bit of a chance of hope for Camel. And Camel's not got it, but Cameron has, but he won't. There won't be much of an advantage at all. But now the battle is between Camel and Jack down to turn 1. Jack up the inside. Camel has to go for a switch back. Hits the back of Jack though through turn 1. Oh. Cameron's still ahead. This is really close now. The battle for 5th.
Drake comes through. Drake's going to try and go around the outside as well. Camille sends it
on
the inside. And the both round. Synchronized spinning at turn 3. And through goes Drake Dempsey into 6th.
And now, this could help Cameron. Drake's going to push. 1.3 seconds he's going to gain on the rest of this lap. Can he get through on Cameron? Or will Cameron just about hold this off? This is going to be great.
There's another lap. It's 34, 35.
My bad. I missed that. So we've got 1 more lap to go. But now, that's a big shame, isn't it, for Jack and Camel? Both round and Cameron. Through this section. Drake. And last time Drake went for a move here, he spun someone round. He's got to hope he doesn't do the same now. He's actually going to take the outside line.
Round the outside to 12, wheel to wheel, and Drake goes through into 5th. Nice championship point.
Oh, Cameron gets a penalty.
No.
But he should be fine anyway because Camel is about 7 seconds back.
Yeah, that should be fine. That spin has kept Cameron in for 6th position. He's just got to hope as we now enter the last lap.
Hang on.
Keep it through.
Has Yannick made a mistake? Because the gap's the second between Yannick and Milan.
Yeah, what's happened there?
Because I'm sure the gap was about 3 seconds, wasn't it?
It was 3 seconds.
Yeah, Yannick Milan and Daniel have been chilling, haven't they, in their positions? Have not really been involved in much at all.
Less than a second now. Is Milan going to turn something on here and find some time?
Yeah, that's a spin. That's Przemek. Hubas has spun round at someone. He's lost it from wing.
Oh, and through goes Drake. Cameron's going to go through too. And that's perfect.
And now, that could be Cameron's P4, could be Drake into P4. And now, Yannick, under pressure from Milan Mayer, as they come through.
Where's it come from?
I don't know where this has come from, but Milan's on some mega pace. It's not going to be enough to get through, because we've only got half a lap to go.
Is it fuel?
Could be fuel.
Like it.
I don't think it is fuel, because, yeah, Yannick's still pushing. We'll have to just see. As now, we round the final few corners. Yannick Schmidt drove pretty much a perfect race. Started on the inters, well, wet onto the softs as he now comes through into the final few corners for the last time. Yannick Schmidt is going to come through the final corner to defend from Milan Mayer as he wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Milan Mayer finished in 2nd, and Daniel Kaya through the final corner is going to take the final podium position. And Drake Dempsey, after an absolute crazy race at the moment, as long as it makes no mistakes, into the final 2 corners, we'll be looking to try and take P4. And also, Jack Humphries under pressure from Hubas, but that won't be much because Hubas has got no front wing. And there we are, Drake at the final corner. The championship leader finishes in 4th. Cameron Dowd's going to be looking to try and take 5th position because Jack is trying to gain to the line. Who's going to get ahead? I think it will be Cameron. Yes, it is. Finishes ahead of Jack Humphries, and Przemek jumps them both with no front wing, and he goes into 5th. That's absolute scenes, and Sergio Sereno will finish 10th. No, sorry. And Jeremy and Harlem having their little battle for 10th position. And they're going to come through the final corner, but Przemek, no front wing. P5.
Fantastic.
You can't call it, can you? You cannot call that.
Brilliant. Well, I do think we nearly did. Well, we got told, do you want to speak? Of course we do.
Oh, and Harlem there, getting through on Jeremy. So there we are. So Jeremy, the only one not to score points. And Harlem does score points in the end. But great fun, a few laps. That was a great race. I enjoyed that heavily.
Fun.
And we are Hubas, driver of the day. let's see what happens then as we go through in towards the classification screens, and we can see the results of the race, and we'll have a look where people started and where people ended. There we are. So the Avteri of Yannick Schmidt takes first position, also with the fastest lap of 16.8.
Yeah,
That
that's very good.
was that was 6 tenths quicker than anyone, because second was Miller May with the 17.4. But Miller May finishes second for the podium yet again, and Daniel Kvyat takes third and rounds out the podium positions. Drake finishes fourth with Przemek Hubas, who started 10th, moved up to 5th, got a penalty. No, sorry, not got a penalty. Got no front wing, sorry. And finished back in 5th. Fair play. Cameron Day's in 6th. Cameron Satcher in 7th. And Jack Humphries in 8th after their little fight and battle. Ended both in Misery down at turn 2. Sabino in 9th and Harlan Marcus trains out the points. Lamanon DNF'd halfway through the race. And Jeremy finished 8th of the points. He had 17 seconds of penalties.
What a race. Right.
And we'll
on
have to
the next
see.
one then.
We'll have to see if anyone wants an interview first, though.
I'll let you deal with that because my internet's probably going to cut off any second
That's
as well.
fine. We'll see if anyone jumps in. Would be nice. Oh, there we are. We have Drake Dempsey waiting to join in.
Of course we do.
Hello, Drake. Welcome in.
Yep, hello. This has become a bit of a tradition, even if I have a performance like that.
It has. But
Hey, good race. We enjoyed it.
There is no way on a normal race that performance was before. I'm just going to say that.
so
Maybe
what
he had the points, but that was rough.
what happened with you and Tumas?
I don't know, really.
Oh, well, that's one answer, I
Just going
suppose. But
just going so slow. I mean,
mhm.
I gave him space, and well, I don't know really.
Started 7th. The pit stop didn't work. Managed to come back up to 4th. I'd say that was, well, I'd say it was a decent race. Yeah, I don't think there's much for you to moan about that, really, considering what happened after the pit stop. She was down to 10th. Was you the one who had the incident with Jeremy?
I don't know now. I mean, I should have ghosted there.
No, but I
don't
mean,
know,
did you?
just
No,
kinda-
no, but I mean, was you the one who got in this? Because I know that Jeremy had an incident with someone, but I wasn't quite sure who.
I spun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I lost like 5 seconds. And
So
I was
you
just
spun,
sideways.
dropped down.
So I wasn't ghosting at all.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
He was always gonna make contact. I wasn't like going out of there, no matter what I did.
Yep.
So it was unlucky, but well, that's
And
more fun
was-
from the couch simulator.
Obviously, P4 still 8 points to take away. I think you're still in the championship by a mile. 2 rounds to go. Are you pretty hopeful that this will be your championship at this point?
Yeah, I mean it's been pretty touch and go, especially this race. Qualifying wasn't ideal. I could have done better, and I was 2 tenths off my PB. So
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
we got Jeddah.
But,
Got Jeddah coming
I
next.
haven't done it in a while
Excited?
either.
Oh.
Kind of, but kind of not. I'd have to actually drive the track to know if I was.
Is it one of the
Uh,
tracks where you seem to have many incidents? Because obviously, you have an incident around there, you're most likely at the race.
I mean, it's been a long time since I did a race there, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's really like you gotta pinpoint where you're gonna overtake for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was really just
Yeah. Josh, anything?
I have to lean over to get the mic there. Just in total, I think we can now say pretty much that you've got one hand on the championship with this. An amazing comeback as well from the start of the season as well. You may not be pleased with today, but are you pleased with the season as a whole with what you've developed this year? Because I think it's been amazing.
oh hell yeah. I mean,
Ah,
if I look back and tell myself at the beginning of the season you're gonna be winning the F2 championship or at least leading it with a few to go, I wouldn't believe myself. I mean, the fact that where I came into this season after a very horrible last season, every single like round except like round 1 or something, round 2 I mean, had an incident that caused me to lose positions. So coming into this season, I didn't really expect much, just to do it and see what I can do. But it seems like it's developed to me actually finding some sort of pace compared to last season and gaining more knowledge and experience. And of course, kind of has an asterisk because of people leaving and not racing
No,
after last
we
season.
don't
But
count that. We don't count asterisks. You will be the champion because you've got it on pace.
right, I mean, it's been fun, but yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it after the first half of the season. That's for sure. Once I won in Austria, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's gonna happen again, but yeah, maybe we can get top 5.
Well, you did say to
And-
us after Austria, yeah, I'm not in the fight for the championship, even though I won a race. So
I
it's
mean, at the
dramatically
time I
changed
wasn't.
in 3 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, at the time I wasn't, and I had a good streak of
Mhm.
a few races, and I mean, up to now, I think I finished in the top 5 for the past 2 rounds, except maybe Baku. No, that wasn't Baku. It was,
Yeah.
I think, Bahrain. Yeah, Bahrain.
But yeah, anyway, thanks for joining us for the interview, and we'll hopefully see you next week after Jeddah. Yeah, hopefully all goes well there. And we have more than 11 drivers because that will be paying around Jeddah.
Righto. It'll be a good race, I think.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
maybe I can wrap up the championship. You never know.
Would be
That'd be
nice. Would be
fantastic
nice.
stuff.
It's more than possible.
Yep. Let's see what happens. See you all there.
Right. See you
See
later,
you.
Drake. Have a good one.
Yep.
There we are, Josh. The race is
Yeah.
complete. It's going to quickly put us back onto the cameras before we say our farewell. Let's get it up. Makes it seem a lot worse, doesn't it, say that our farewell?
Yeah. Right, ta-da! Get
There we
out
are.
of
We're
here.
back. Josh, there we
Okay.
are. We're back on the screen. Great race. Obviously, 11 drivers around a wet Hungary. I thought at first, oh no, this is not going to go well at all, and it will be 5 DNFs in lap 1. However, we survived half the race without a DNF. We got 1 DNF in the pit lane. I don't class that as a DNF, so we made it without any DNFs. And I
Yeah,
think it was a
good
great
one.
race, especially near the end with all the strategies coming into play. Obviously, Cameron saying out on the inters, people onto the softs, people onto the mediums, people saying out later on the wets, people saying out shorter on the wets. There's lots of different strategies that came into play, and I think strategy was definitely one of the key things at the end of the race. Obviously, strategy helped Milan, Janik, Milan, and Daniel out. Obviously, getting the great launch. Strategy helped them, and I think that's probably also why they got the podiums. If they made any wrong mistakes with the strategies, that could have ended badly for any of them in the race. But
It could have been
Josh, what did you think of the race?
very good, actually. I thought that was actually more entertaining than some of the races we've seen this year. So I'm mega impressed with it,
Mhm.
and I'm hoping that the next what was it, 3 left now? Was it 2? Did you say? How
I
many
think
left?
2. No,
2 left.
yeah, 2.
Yeah, so I
Round
think
10 and
they're
11.
going to be good. Yeah. So we're going to be in for a good end to the season, I think, and I
Yep.
think it's about time that we all take a break from it and get rid of F1 22 and get on to the new game of 23,
Yes.
which
Well,
the
Josh,
announcement trailer is tomorrow.
true, but Josh, remember we've still got many other championships to cover on F1 22 still.
Yeah.
So it's not over for
Well,
us just yet. For the drivers, it is, but not for us.
Yeah. That's only because I'm getting with Thursdays as well. I'm rushed off feet as well, doing everything. I'm now going to clean up a commentary box. No, actually, I'm doing that tomorrow morning. I've got to take the green screen down now.
Worst
as well
part
and
is,
get back to
Josh,
that house.
we will only be seeing everyone next Thursday once more.
Yes, that is true. That is
So,
true. But now you
one-
can say the thing one more time.
But the thing is, I think it's as much as obviously we've still got 2 rounds to go. But I'm just going to say it now. As much as it is sad to see the game go, it's quite a shame because we've had some great seasons over through this. Obviously, also I think another great thing to call is the fact we've gone from F4, F3, F2. Obviously, yeah, it doesn't really match F2 3 seasons ago because of the way the game's changed and the way people have stepped down. But still, it's F2, it's second tier. So I think it's been great progress for us. And
I
also,
think
it's
it
been
has,
nice to see drivers move up with us. We've had Bogdan follow us, Harlem. I think Sergio was with us in F3. Bogdan, of course.
Is this
Jan,
where-
Pesso.
Is this where Jack and George get their calling cards added and we go up one more?
See, well, I think the only tradition will be if Bogdan and Jan all go up, that means we go up as well.
We've got to go up. Yeah.
So-
yeah. I'll start rotating the staff. Maybe.
But anyway,
Now-
enough of waffling on. Thanks everyone for joining us as usual for Hungary here at round 9. And we will be back next week for Jeddah, round 10, obviously the Corniche circuit. A very interesting one. Could promote very great racing or could promote very boring racing. We'll have to see when that time comes. But thanks everyone for joining us. And Josh, thanks for being alongside me as usual here
Pleasure.
at F2. And we'll see you all next time. So have a good weekend, everyone. And we'll see you all later. So goodbye.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.